Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment completely eliminates the Council on Environmental Quality. This important office is responsible for coordinating the federal government's efforts to improve, preserve, and protect Americans' public health and the environment. These are very important tasks. It also works to ensure that environmental reviews for infrastructure projects and federal actions are thorough, efficient, and reflect the input of the public and local communities. This proposed amendment would hobble the office and result in significant delays to infrastructure projects across the country at exactly the wrong time. I oppose this amendment, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this is a prime example of another rogue, unauthorized agency out there that is implementing rules and regulations for which they were not set up. It also is an agency that was issued $62 million for the Democrats' Inflation Reduction Act. Therefore, they have plenty of cash over there. This simply takes $5 million and moves it over to help with the deferred maintenance on our national parks. And with that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields. The gentlelady from Maine.
Thank you. I yield 2 minutes to the chairman of this chairman of this committee, Mr. Simpson. Sorry.
I thank the gentlelady for yielding. Mr. Chairman, I rise in opposition to the amendment. While I understand the concerns from my colleagues about CEQ's actions under this administration related to the environmental review process and other issues, I believe that the CEQ has a valuable role to play in leading efforts to strike a balance in ensuring our environment is protected while also promoting economic development and job growth. It is important to have an agency lead coordinated efforts across the administration on issues such as conservation and preservation to our natural resources. I would say this, though. Republicans liked what CEQ did under the previous administration. We actually liked what they were doing. The way to change policies of an agency is by voting in a different administration. And next year, we'll have that opportunity to see how the American people feel. I would say that we've rescinded those funds that were given to CEQ in this bill also. So they don't have all those funds that are left there, and we've actually reduced their funding. So I would rise in opposition to the amendment, but I understand the gentleman's concern under this administration. And I yield back.
Gentleman from Maine.
I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. So the gentlelady has the only time. The gentleman from Georgia yielded back time.
Dear friends, they have said it. Republicans and Democrats in the House do not want a government shutdown. But with just 8 days left before the November 17th deadline, Congress has still not reached an agreement. There are multiple different ideas that have been put forward, many of which would include major spending cuts. So today, friends, I'll be going over the latest proposals. So please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, dearest friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Over 3 weeks of chaos over the House Speaker, House Republicans say they want to prevent a government shutdown from turning into another crisis. But with the deadline just 8 days away, Congress still has not come up with a plan to keep the lights on in Washington, D.C. Though many lawmakers are upbeat about averting a government shutdown, the mood runs counter to their lack of progress and the uncertainty of a new House Speaker. Speaker Mike Johnson has yet to announce an official plan, even after walking Republicans through several options. Johnson said the details and next steps of a short-term funding bill still remain up in the air. House Republicans are all over the map when it comes to how a short-term stopgap bill, known as a continuing resolution, most of them agree that shutting the government down on November 17th would be a bad idea. Further, a shutdown would be a huge distraction as the party tries to pass its remaining funding bills to set up a negotiation with the Senate on longer-term spending. On the other side of the Capitol, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer declined to reveal his preference on a funding bill, how long it should last, or when it might come to a vote. He recently told reporters, "We hope we can get to a bipartisan agreement to move forward as quickly as possible. We would like to get a continuing resolution done as quickly as possible. That's what we think." Republicans are trying to coordinate across the chambers. Senator Susan Collins of Maine, the top Senate GOP appropriator, was set to meet with Mike Johnson to discuss a path forward on government funding. There was no shortage of ideas on how to structure the continuing resolution, but in a closed-door meeting this week, House Speaker Johnson laid out 3 potential options for averting a government shutdown. According to the attendees, there was a 2-step process that is favored by conservatives, where a handful of the spending bills would go on a continuing resolution through December 7th. Another option is to pass a bill that would be a relatively clean continuing resolution through January to provide the House more time to finish passing their spending bills. GOP Representative Andy Barr said he would like to see a short-term bill that lowers spending from current levels to the caps established in a 2-year budget deal in May. Like several of his Freedom Caucus colleagues, Representative Ken Buck is backing the 2-step approach, which House Speaker Johnson has referred to as a laddered CR. But even some conservatives who support it acknowledge that the idea has lost momentum. Some lawmakers say the most plausible scenario is that Speaker Johnson puts a relatively clean continuing resolution on the floor just before the shutdown deadline that can pass with both Republican and Democratic votes, just as Kevin McCarthy did before his ouster. But even McCarthy's biggest detractors have said they'll give Johnson more breathing room than his predecessor, and it's unlikely that any Republican would force a vote to remove him, given that he was elected just 2 weeks ago, with support from all 221 Republicans. Representative Buck has said, "We have all learned a lesson from the motion to vacate. It was very difficult to find a speaker. A lot of people did not want to be speaker, and we had trouble getting enough people to support a speaker. I don't think you're going to see a motion to vacate again in this Congress." Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said the next steps on the stopgap bill will be Senator Schumer to decide in the upper chamber, and then he will need to sort it out with Speaker Johnson. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. Dearest friends, thank you so much for being part of this community. Every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed week.